I'm here today as part of my project called Cryophilia. It's one of my current personal photography projects, and it's all about documenting rapidly vanishing ice, especially here in the Canadian Rockies right at home. My name is Paul Zizka, and I'm a professional outdoor and landscape photographer based out of Banff in the Canadian Rockies. So this is my home. The glaciers that you see in the background are going very, very quickly. We've lost a huge amount of ice over the last few decades. And so part of my goal is to repeatedly visit a few local glaciers and document the changes that are happening there. So essentially I'm here today to do some repeat photography at a place called the Bow Glacier. This is the source of the Bow River that flows all the way across North America and eventually ends up in the Bay of Hudson. And it's a crucial sort of frontline area in terms of glacier melt. And so I'm very interested to see how much the place has changed since my last visit. I was first here way back in 2002, so I have photos with me that date way back over 20 years. So I started out at Bow Lake, which is just around the corner, and now I'm following the Bow River upstream towards the waterfalls you see behind me. My goal is to travel through glacier terrain, such as moraines, to end up on top of the waterfalls to a lake that didn't exist up until very recently called Iceberg Lake. And that lake is tucked between the top of the waterfalls that you see and the ice field that you also see in the background, the Wapta ice field. And that's where the Bow Glacier comes down to feed the lake. So I'm going to try to repeat some photos that I took 20 or so years ago just to see how much glacial recession has happened since. It's time to break off the trail, do a river crossing. Now this river is coming directly from the glacier that I'm trying to reach today. It's a very hot day in the mountains, so the volume of water is quite high already. And so it's time to take the boots off and then start making my way up towards the objective. Well, after much detective work, I think I found my spot. So I was sitting here shooting this exact scene almost exactly 21 years ago. And I spotted some rocks that I recognized in the photograph, as well as a little tree, but a lot has changed because this entire landscape was revealed by the glaciers just only a few decades ago. And so it's slowly shifting downhill. There's a lot of changes. There's a lot of rocks I see in the photograph I don't see today. So a lot has moved, but there's enough clues that make me 100% sure that this is exactly where I was. So it's important to me when I do repeat photography that I do it as accurately as possible so that the work is as relevant as possible. Of course, when I took this shot 21 years ago, it wasn't for the purposes of documenting glacier retreats, so I didn't really mark where I was taking the shot from, but eventually I figured it out today, and I'll make sure that I mark it for the next visit 10-20 years from now. So as you can see, and as I sort of expected, there's an astonishing change in the ice cover here at the Bow Glacier and Iceberg Lake. You can see in 2003, the waterfall was actually quite small, and now the ice has retreated way, way back, several rock layers up. Not only that, but the depth of the ice, the thickness of the ice has changed tremendously as well. I can see mountains in the skyline now that were covered by ice in the past. So there's been a huge loss of ice in terms of distance from the lake, but also just in terms of the depth as well. So things are happening very, very quickly. And of course, very warm days like this, very hot days, really take their toll on the glacier cover. There's tons of melting happening today.